All right, so before I actually start, Inferno, are you here and paying attention and prepared to discuss your gameplay? Because I can do this quickly and you can just review the VOD, or... Yeah, there you are. Okay. Did pretty good, all things considering. Hell yeah. All right. So let's see how this goes. Okay, here's the thing. I could like nitpick and go crazy in my detail of what I'm choosing to like focus on, but instead of doing that, I am just going to if I see anything like big that I want to make sure that you focus on, I'm going to bring that up and I will talk about it a little bit. But I'm not going to go into like, oh, you should have pressed medium punch here. It's a frame faster and it would have given you a better... I'm not going to do that kind of like minute specific shit. Unless it's like very, very clear, like you pressed jab on a DP punish, that kind of thing. But for the most part, remembering what we were talking about last time in terms of pressuring and making it so that you get consistent Oki on your knockdowns, that's what I'm going to be focused on. Because I know your neutral is good and your defense is good. So I'm not really going to say a lot about that. I'm mostly going to talk about your offense. All right. So immediately we have something. Is there a way for me to like go back less time? No. Okay, so right here, first off, just off the rip. This is not your fault for anti-airing. You were going forward neutral, and he decided to jump around start. You didn't do anything wrong. That was a good punish. Good follow-up. This is my problem. If you get a low forward in that situation, you got a punish, counter, crouch, medium punch, which you can confirm into low forward, which you should be confirming not into demon flip. You should be confirming it into lava hands, like we were talking about on Monday. The thing is that this is muscle memory that you need to get out of your system. Because you are wasting an opportunity for a true punish and Oki on a mix-up because it's just what you do already. Right? So like we talked about last time, low forward into, what was it, medium lava hands, I think? Especially off of this punish counter crouch medium. Or, sorry, punish counter crouch jab. I don't know if you confirmed this or if you were just going for it. But either way, you had two moves to confirm this hit into something better than demon flip. So something I want you to do, Inferno, is grind low forward demon flip out of your muscle memory. Do something else. Because this is one of the big things like that we were talking about on Monday, is that your offense is lacking primarily because whether you are confirming hits or not, you are going into things that are not giving you as much as you should be getting off the hits that you have gotten, right? So homework piece number 1 for you is going to be do something different out of low forward. Try to learn to confirm the hit, especially off something like that. Because off of the punish counter jab... Well, okay, so let me ask you this. So, bang. Off of this punish counter, did you recognize that this was a punish counter jab and go for the low forward because you knew you could get it? That's my first question. Or were you going to press crouch medium kick regardless? Because that'll also change a little bit your answer to that will change how I go about this scenario. Just been going on with what you hope works, which is kind of so-so. Okay. So, in that case, I'm going to say 2 things. 1, crouch light punch is -1 on block. So it's safe, if he had blocked here. But if you had pressed crouch medium kick, that is an 8-frame button, which means he would have had time to punish you if he was ready for it. That is not a big deal right now because a lot of the time people aren't going to be ready to just stuff you. And like they're not going to expect you to press low forward after a blocked jab necessarily until you show them that you'll do that. So that by itself isn't necessarily a big deal. It will be eventually, but that's not important. That's not as important. What you need to be doing is confirming these hits. That jab being a punish counter and then the crouch medium kick connecting, both together should have given you time to confirm that it was on hit and go for something else. Get a better knockdown, better corner carry, better damage, whatever. So just in the first literal 2 seconds of gameplay, hit confirming into something better specifically. Because hit confirming is something everyone needs to know how to do, but that's not easy to just do. You have to practice and learn how to do it. So focusing your intention on hit confirming something specific into something specific is what you should be doing. If you're in a situation like this again, find a way to make sure you know whether or not it hit, and then make sure that off of this, you are going into something better. Medium Tatsu or medium lava hands, I think both work here. Either of those would have been better than Demon Flip. So whichever one you like better, and like lab it out, figure out what moves go into what and what you like better, what feels more natural. But this just off the rip, this is part of why your offense is lacking. So working on this part is going to help you a lot. He got overheaded, so that's fine. I appreciate that. Again, same thing. You are not confirming whether it's on hit or on block, so you are just swinging. You are swinging with Demon Flip because the overhead is plus, and you get a mix-up off it if they start being able to deal with you doing the overhead. I need in every fiber of my being, I need you to be doing something else here. And I'm not going to boot up the game right now because I'm not going to spend that much time doing this. But low forward into Demon Flip, do not do that. I want you to try to stop doing that entirely. If it's on block, I want you to, okay. I'm going to be more specific here. Thing number 1 for your homework, learn to hit confirm crouch medium kick, cancel it into light fireball on block, and either medium lava hands or medium tatsu on hit. Because that is a move that you get people with a lot, and you are wasting damage, oki, and corner carry by going into Demon Flip. That is not your fault. That is just what you have gotten kind of stuck doing. That's what's in your muscle memory. I want you to try to get that out of your muscle memory. The hit confirming part is the hard part, but it's going to make it so much easier if you can learn to do it consistently, because then you're going to be able to keep yourself safe if it gets blocked and be able to push your advantage better if it hits. Same thing. That throw is good. I like that. Although I will say back throw, not as good. I understand because you were also blocking at the same time. Also, this right here, sorry, I'm getting specific, but that right there, that medium punch on block into low forward, that I believe it's +1 on block, so that wasn't a frame trap, but that was to some extent a spacing trap. He probably could have hit you, but that's a good trap to get people with because medium punch is plus, so they don't, if they know that, they won't expect something slow. They'll expect you to like put pressure on more safely, and they might try to walk away to get out of the range of it, which is why low forward worked. So again, hit confirming, but that is a nice kind of like trap to have in mind. But again, that's a little further than I want you to be thinking right now, but just so the idea is in your head at all, that is pretty decent. This back throw is unfortunate, but I know you back threw because you were also holding down back to block. When you are on offense in a situation like this, it is always better, at least in my opinion, it is almost always better to commit and make sure that you go for a forward throw, because even if you get hit, the likelihood of them hitting you with something big is not high. The likelihood of you taking a lot of damage is not high if they stuff it. So at round start, when you have this much of a lead and you get into an Oki situation like this, you are so plus here that there is no reason for you to be worrying about holding down back. This is the other reason why learning plus frames and minus frames is important. Knowing when you're in advantage is important because it avoids situations like this. You were so close to the corner that doing a forward throw here would have put him so much closer to the corner that you then would be in an optimal situation to steamroll him and take the round, right? So that is a situational awareness thing. That is going to come with time as you learn frame data, as you get more comfortable with understanding advantage and disadvantage on hit and on block. But as an example, Demon Flip Overhead is at worst +4 on block. So there is never a time where you will need to worry about them pressing a button before you do if they block it. So if you're going to go for something like a throw, do not hold down back when you do it. If you're, in this situation where you're cornering them, you can get away with a forward throw every time. The worst thing that they're going to do is tech. Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. That's why I'm explaining this right now. I don't expect you to be like labbing all of this yourself. I know that the frame advantage and stuff is what you struggle with. So I'm using this as a very specific example. If this happens in the future, if you go for the Demon Flip Overhead, you are plus enough. You don't need to know what exactly that means, but the idea is that you are in so much advantage that you do not need to worry about blocking if you want to follow up afterwards. So when this happens, if you're going to go for a throw, don't hold down back when you do it. You can just forward throw them. Keep them in the corner, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to try to get into the nitty-gritty of it. Just know that you are the one who controls what's happening right now. And the worst thing that's going to happen if you go for a forward throw is that they are going to tech it. Otherwise, they don't have time to hit you. So you can always go for the forward throw here. That was not a bad fireball. That was an unfortunate fireball. That happened to me a lot in Street Fighter V when I played Luke. Happens to me still when I play characters with fireballs. Happens to me with Jamie's heavy kick. I will press it at a range that is perfect jump in distance, and I will get hit. Nice job with that. Let's see the punish. Nice. Okay. This sequence was actually nice. This was good. Normally, if a Geef messes up a lariat like this, right, this whole situation, this was a great job holding defense here. If he dropped, parry is not always safe against Zangief because he could mix it up and do a command grab and do fucking half your health. But the idea was sound. However, here, on that spot, you can always DI that. If you block the last hit of Lariat, you can get a guaranteed DI, which can then set up for a bigger combo. That being said, this wasn't bad because you got a good follow-up. Bam, crouch medium, medium lava hands. Drive rush was great. For Oki, this DI, not great. I don't know if there was precedent set. I believe this is the first round of this game against this guy. Do not use DI like this if you can help it. Because at the level that you are now playing at, people are going to react to it, and it is going to be worse for you. That happens to me a lot. I go for a cheeky DI thinking there's no way they're going to expect it, and they still react to it. DI is not an offensive tool unless they are burnt out, don't have super, or you have a mix and have conditioned them to not expect it. It is so slow and so reactable that starting in Diamond through to Master, it is straight up not worth using most of the time. Only if you are confident that you are in their head deep enough to get away with it, should you ever use it. The situation before this, like I said, was great. You got a really nice hit given how far away he was, confirmed it into that medium punch, into the lava hands, into the drive rush for Oki. That was great. This DI is what screwed it up. That was an otherwise perfect situation. Because look at that. Look at how much damage you took for that. That is so much damage. Just because you press DI. Keep that in mind. I'm not going to say anything about that. I'm focusing on your offense. Nice. Called out his fake stuff. Got the back throw. What do? Poke. Nice jump. Nice punish. All right, let's keep going on this. So you got DI'd, you got hit. No anti-air. You were burned out. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Only thing I'm gonna say about defense. When you are burned out, you tend to get a little over scared. There are two options here. Option one is don't burn yourself out in the first place. Usually that's the better option. Option two is when you burn yourself out, recognize how much of a health difference you have. One anti-air kills him here. So that fireball, I don't even dislike, because being burnt out means that your Oki is not going to be as good. Your pressure is not going to be as good as it could be. So going for a meaty fireball and maintaining space while you get your meter back is not a bad thing. I personally would be pushing advantage, but that's because I'm me and I play a rushdown character and I'm a gorilla. For you, I think that was actually a good choice. But after that, what you need to remember, Inferno, is that while you are burnt out, the opponent thinks that they have the advantage. And to some extent, they do. But in this situation, you are still in the lead in almost every way. I know being burned out is scary, because it is scary. But in this situation where you are a half screen apart and you have this much more health than he does, you are still in charge of what's happening. So being able to recognize the situation as a whole, resources being drive, health, and super, being able to recognize it, check everything real quick, get a concept of where you're at, and then be able to maintain a game plan that will best lead you to success based on that information. That is an important skill to have, but that is something to learn over time. Again, it's not easy. From someone who is just watching and not playing, way too many things to keep in check. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to keep in mind at all times. For me, if I was here after you burned yourself out, genuinely right here, right? This combo should be in your muscle memory. You shouldn't need to look at your character while you're doing it, right? So while you're doing this combo, as soon as you burn yourself out, you say, oh shit, I burned out. I didn't have as much meter as I thought. While you're doing this combo, take a peek at the health and the resources. I do that a lot, where if I am doing a combo that's long enough and I am secure enough in my execution of it that I'm not worried about whether I'm going to hit it or not, I will use that timing to peek at everything, to kind of refresh myself on exactly what the situation is. So right here, boom, boom, perfect. A beautiful meaty fireball too. The very slight charge to make that meaty, that was fantastic. But now here, literally all you need is one anti-air, and he is going to try to be aggressive. And for Zangief, the best way to be aggressive is to either drive rush in or which is not that good because his drive rush is not that good, or it is to try to scare you into letting him jump, right? Practice 3 versions of a combo based on resources, and exactly like KO said, when the autopilot starts, I check meter and understand which route you need to take. Yes, that is a great way to do it. That is a slightly higher level way to do it, but that is a very good way to do it. The best way to use your character is to have, like Hero's saying, 3 routes depending on the amount of meter and the amount of resources you're trying to use. Thank you, Hero. If you are going to cash out fully drive and super because you think you can get a kill off it, or if you're going to spend a little bit of either in order to get a better situation afterwards, or if you don't have the resources to spend, so you just want to get advantage in a simple and easy way since you got the hit. That's effectively like 3 ways to look at it. Full dump, partial dump, no dump. For me, if I'm thinking of like, you know, like playing Jamie, right? I get a drive rush heavy punch. If it connects, I get target combo. If I'm going for a full cash out, I can do target combo, drive rush, heavy punch, target combo, drive rush, you know, whatever, something like that. If I just want to get like something simple, I can do, you know, target combo, drive rush, down 2 kicks for the launcher, and then get the jump heavy kick, heavy punch sweep. You know, gets me a drink, pretty good damage, decent corner carry. If I don't want to spend anything, I just go straight into Rekka. Or if I have drinks already, I'll just go straight into breakdance to get myself a good plus situation, right? It's all based on the same starter. It's just on, depending on what resources I have and what I need in order to win, I will then route differently based on that. So, again, that is not something I'm expecting you to do right now, Inferno, but it is something to keep in mind of, like, once you get more comfortable with frames and combos and pressing advantage, being able to pay attention to the resources you have and route accordingly is a very good skill to have. But for a situation like this, the best advice I ever got about Street Fighter 6 is from Flo. When you have somebody in the corner, they do not want to be there, so you do not need to be on them going for risky things. They are going to panic and try to get out. That applies to burnout as well. If they are burnt out, it's the idea of applying what would you do if you were in that situation to the opponent, right? Empathizing with their situation in that situation and understanding what they want to do because of that, right? So here, because you're burnt out, the Zangief is thinking, sweet, this is Akuma who already has low health, who's burnt out and doesn't have, you know, like, if the only thing you could just, like, kill him with to reversal if he tried to pressure you was super. So he's thinking, this is my turn to try to get in there and force the situation. Like I said, he's going to come in, he's going to try to be aggressive. If he jumps, you just need to watch out. You can, like, maintain space, throw fireballs, wait for him to jump, anti-air him, he's dead. Use his desire to take advantage of you being in burnout against him, and watch for the things that he would probably do in order to get in. Akuma is really, really good at that because your fireballs are so good. You can, especially against a character like Zangief, you can force him to keep this distance, and that's going to get him frustrated because he wants to get you before you're done being burnt out. So keep this distance, force him to deal with this. At some point, he's going to say, I want to kill this guy. He's going to jump, anti-air him, he's dead. Right? So it's that kind of thing of, like, paying attention to what the opponent wants out of that situation, because most of the time they will not be cognizant enough to not go for it until you've shown them that they shouldn't. If that makes sense. Should have killed him. Should have killed him. He should have killed you. That jump forward did not need to happen. Again, you were now because you let him walk you down into the corner, now you're panicking. And your thought is, I need to jump, I need to get away from this. And he either thought you might do that or was going to jump regardless, and he just reacted better. Hard to say. But letting him walk you down like that when you had the advantage in that situation, reasonably speaking. That is one of those things that you kind of got to get used to, but that's also a nerves thing. Tournament nerves, ranked nerves, being in burnout in general nerves, all of that. It is very reasonable to be concerned about that kind of situation. That's just Zangief. That's not even your fault. Nice. That was good. So because you went for the overhead and you were plus, you counter hit him with that crouch medium punch because he either didn't know it was plus or didn't expect you to press. So you got it, got the knockdown. What do? Drive rush? Nice. Perfect. That's what Pingo was saying on Monday. Use drive rush on a knockdown like that to get pressure. Drive rush medium kick on block. That was +1 on block. So that was great. That means that you have the advantage and you can keep pressuring him from here like you're doing right now. Again, caught him low. Again, need to confirm that. That was lucky, but that's a perfectly reasonable spot to do that, honestly. Nice. That is not bad, but again, try to optimize that situation, right? That's what we were talking about last time. That frame kill with stand medium punch, you get crouch heavy punch after that, and you can either confirm that hit or buffer it into lava hands, into heavy lava hands, right? I don't expect you to have that right away. It's only been 2 days. But that situation in the corner was great in general. That whole thing. So, nice, bam, counter hit, nice, drive rush, medium kick, +1, pressure with jab, good choice. Caught him again, overhead, safe. Now he knows that you're not plus anymore, and you've been pressuring him. He wants you to get off him. He's going to press something. That was a risky DI, very risky DI, but it worked out this time. Unforgiving matchup for Akuma, also true. And then bam, 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 bam. Nice. So that whole situation was great. So this situation right here, you want to just be able, you want to try to find a way to optimize this situation, this Oki situation. And that's what we were talking about before. But that whole string of everything, getting him into the corner here was good. I don't really have any notes on that. Burned yourself out though. Not as good. You're going to die. That is the story of my horrific, unsanitary public birth. And now that the ads are done, back to the VOD review. Alright, but you're not dead, and you have super. Unfortunate. Unfortunate, not your fault. That's just unfortunate spacing. Nice job backing up. Good parry. Zangief. I get hit by that shit all the time. DP. Okay. You need to be able to confirm this. You can get something off this. I don't know what. Because you can get stand jab here into DP or one of the tots. I don't know if you can get medium tatsu off jab or not. Confirming lights is very, very hard, but very, very important. So that is another thing, and that's both defense and offense. But that is not homework I'm going to give you, just something to keep in mind. Beware of that range where bear grab is a threat. Yeah. For Zangief specifically, he's got so many goofy moves, like bear grab, that being cognizant of what his options are is something you need to do, even though it's hard. But that one doesn't have armor. Oh, I forgot. Actually, see, there you go. That's something I didn't even think about that. I forgot. I was gonna say sweep that shit, but that or jump it, but that works too. But yeah, being able to confirm your hits is very important because this could have been a very good reversal of situation for you. But unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. Nice anti-air. That's my boy. Nice punish. Okay. Like Hero was talking about before, routing based on resources also means routing based on the situation. You already had him in the corner, And the damage that you're getting from that's unfortunate. The damage that you're getting from the drive rush is not worth the 3 bars you're spending to get it. Here, I would have done this. Bang, bang. Crouch heavy punch. Heavy lava hands. Heavy Tatsu. That was just an unfortunate drop. Yeah. It's just Zangief being overwhelming. Nice anti-air. Nice fireball. Maintain that space. Play that neutral. Also, I'm going to say very quickly, I appreciate the idea of wanting to move forward. I appreciate your instinct to want to move forward. Against Zangief, you don't need to. And you honestly shouldn't. In a situation like this, where you are controlling space with fireballs and he's getting hit by them, you have a life lead now, don't move forward. There's no point. Don't move backwards. If he's able to start getting in, then hold your ground because you don't want to corner yourself. But you have the room on stage to move back a little bit if you need to. And using your fireballs to keep him out and chip him down is better for your overall health and likelihood of winning than trying to force approaches and scrap with him. Akuma is a better scrapper than Zangief, but Zangief does more damage per scrap. So it's not necessarily worth taking the fight to him if you don't have to. That's a matchup knowledge thing, but it, again, kind of thing to think about of like, you don't need to be pressing offense all the time. And that means in neutral, it's okay to hang back and just throw fireballs. It might be boring. It might not be as fun as something else, but I know you like to zone, so don't be afraid to commit to it. If it helps you win, it's worth doing. And I appreciate that you moved forward, but then didn't keep going forward. You maintained that space. But now, like you can see, right? You guys are this far. You dash in. All of a sudden, he can jump, might hit you from here. Zangief has some big buttons. He's got some big limbs, right? If you hadn't dashed forward, you wouldn't have to worry about him jumping at you, and you'd be able to keep throwing fireballs and bothering him. But now that you're here, both of you have to commit to paying attention to the other person, whereas if you hadn't moved forward, you would have been able to keep just peppering him. So that's another, it's one of those things, it's like, it's hard to think about in the moment, but against a character like Zangief, who doesn't really have a good way to go forward without either perfect parrying fireballs or jumping them, maintaining a space where him jumping doesn't do anything is going to be better and make you win more easily than maintaining a space where one of you messing up means that something happens, right? Because if you hadn't dashed forward, you could throw fireballs. If he jumps one of them, doesn't matter. Now you're in that situation. Now you're in this situation afterwards. But you put yourself in this situation when you didn't need to. And see, he's getting aggressive. He's getting frustrated. So he keeps moving forward. You keep catching with fireballs. You're still maintaining a good spacing from him, using fireballs and using pokes. But then he's in that range where a burst option that you aren't able to react to or that you have a hard time reacting to gets you, and now all of a sudden you're even on health, right? So using the tools that you have that they don't is something that you should make sure to pay attention to. That's something that you should be trying to do. Because now you're in the corner worrying about him. That was nice. Good knockdown. No DI reaction, but that's all right. He didn't follow up either. Not a good DI, right? Again, using it as kind of a panic option is never good because it's slow as shit. And they can either react or just beat it if they have an option to do so, which Zangief as a grappler does. That's another massive chunk of your health gone. All right. He has done a round start jump almost every time. Good on you. I would have DP'd it because guaranteed invincibility, no trades. But even still, you recognized it and you did hit him for it. Good work. That was good stuff. I'm assuming that was a misinput. Ballsy, but I do the same thing, so I can't say anything about it. Nice meaty fireball. Nice jump in. Didn't confirm, but that's okay. I also drop confirms like that. Again, hit confirming is hard. Okay, once again, right here. Also, heavy DP there is crazy, but I respect it. Okay, right here, he can jump and he can hit you. So again, you have to be careful of this kind of range, because especially for a character like Zangief, their jump range is deceptively long. His buttons are so big that throwing a fireball here gets you hit. He doesn't get a lot off it. Could have punished also. But again, frame data, character matchup knowledge, so that's very specific. You need to know that ahead of time to be able to punish that. But at that range right here, you think there's no way that he's going to jump at me, but he moves forward, he jumps, hits you. Always assume that the opponent can jump. If it looks like they can, if it looks like they might be able to hit you with a jump in, assume that they can and play accordingly. Be more cautious about throwing fireballs. Pay attention to their character model. If they start moving upwards, be ready to DP. Or crouch heavy punch, but DP is better. But crouch heavy punch also works. It's a good anti-air. Always be ready for an opponent to jump at you, because especially playing Akuma the way you do, they're going to start trying to jump. I would say right here, again, this is a very small thing because it's something you would have to know. Heavy kick 100% punishes this. Heavy punch, honestly, might as well. I don't know, but nice. I appreciate what you were going for there, Zangief. Nice throw. Draw reversal. He doesn't want to play the game with you. He wants to play his game. Nice. That's just unfortunate. That's just terribly unfortunate spacing. That's not your fault. Same thing would have happened to me. Nice. Nice. I will also say, if you can manually time Oki like that, that's fine. But you could have gotten better Oki than jab, which is why frame kills and setups are good. You get a better situation than just jabbing, which is why it's worth labbing it out, like we did on Monday. Nice. Nice. But now you're in the corner again, which is why demon flip is not ideal. Nice fireball. Nice air fireball. Again, spacing. It's good knockdown, good meaty fireball. You move too far forward, right? That, genuinely, that just kind of happens sometimes. You can't always be right. But again, paying attention, this guy jumps a lot. At this point, you need to play it your way, but you got outplayed. Partially, definitely you got outplayed. Because, which happens. That happens to everybody. I get outplayed by people worse than me. I get outplayed by people better than me. It happens sometimes, right? Everybody, whatever. Doesn't matter. The trick to not getting outplayed is to not give them the chance to do it. Make it... The best way to play the game is to force your opponent into situations that they don't have easy ways out of. Yeah, he is very trigger happy with his jumps, for sure. As soon as he gets in range to do so, he's assuming you're going to do something he can punish, and if not, he is assuming that you're not going to anti-air him. So he is just sending it. The best way to stop him from doing that is to be more patient, press fewer buttons, anti-air him. That's what I've been working on, right, for the past, month plus. I've been working on being very cautious about where I'm pressing buttons so that I can be prepared to react to what they do instead. It's hard. It's very hard, but it's worth doing because you win more. Yep, he's used to you jumping out of the corner. That was just a good read. Level 3. Nope. bad punish by him, you're in burnout. You're burnt out now. So the question is, what happens? Yep. So I will agree with your assessment, Inferno, that all of the rounds were close. They were all definitely winnable, except for maybe like one of them somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember. But for the most part, all of that was winnable. You just made a couple mistakes and didn't punish certain things that should have been punished. He just played a little better, right? That happens. There's not always something that you can do about it. But the point of going over this is figuring out what you could have done about it. So now, next time it happens, you have it in your head that you can do something about it and you can figure out what to do.